Chapter 186. Displayed on the screen is a map of the area bordering Misty Mountain. After the fog's relentless encroachment, the territory of Misty Mountain now rivals that of a small nation. No one could have foreseen that the once great Misty Mountain started from an obscure mountain ravine. The Divine Tree's domain also borders various unique territories, including seas, mountains, deserts, and plateaus. To expand its forces, forge new alliances, and prepare for the third wave of spiritual tide, the Divine Tree has quietly arranged an unprecedented grand expedition. Enemies will be trampled underfoot, while allies will join hands in anticipation of the spiritual tide. All the exotic beasts of Misty Mountain have left their nests. Under the command of the supreme beings serving the Divine Tree, they begin their march to various lands. This is the Dead Forest, a swath of dark and gloomy woodland, devoid of a single leaf. Suddenly, heavy footsteps pound the ground, shattering the eerie silence. A mutated azure rhinoceros is roaring. Its opponent today is the purple scythe, a mutated mantis that has just evolved to the transcendent Third Order. The massive mouth confronts the sharp scythe of the mantis, and in an instant they collide, creating a blinding light. The rhinoceros immediately goes pale, fresh blood spurts out and splashes onto the ground. The mantis glides away gracefully. It is now one of the main forces of Misty Mountain. But this beast is no longer a match for it. The logistics team leader, Lan Feng, and his teammate, a mutated rat, appear after the battle. Seeing the rhinoceros panting heavily on the ground, Lan Feng orders the rat to take the rhinoceros back to Misty Mountain for treatment. Misty Mountain certainly prioritizes forming alliances over punishment, but sometimes they have to take action. Lan Feng watches the mantis's retreating figure, sighing inwardly. Relying on the power of the void, the mantis has truly become powerful, able to defeat its opponent with a single blow. On this side, the mutated beetle clan is roaring in intimidation. A swarm of gigantic beetles, hundreds in number. Their wings rustling, echoing under the vast sky. Their opponent is the Thunder Dragon of Misty Mountain. It gathers its spiritual power, and a bolt of lightning shoots from its mouth. A thunderous boom resonates, and in an instant, the swarm of hundreds of beetles disintegrates into nothingness. The Thunder Dragon stands atop a mountain of enemy corpses, sweeping its gaze once. Its mission to punish this tribe is accomplished. This marks the 5th year since the restoration of Misty Mountain's reputation. The main forces of Misty Mountain have ceaselessly waged wars and expanded their territories. The Snow Bear punishes the Red Ant Army. The dinosaur eradicates the territory of the reptiles. The mutated spider goes to the territory of the red-eyed rabbits. On this side, the monkey army under the command of the White Monkey, the most populous force of Misty Mountain, has also just completed its mission. Hurry up, give them bananas and nobody gets hurt. On the satellite screen of the Spiritual Power Monitoring Bureau, images of the beasts of Misty Mountain have occupied the entire frame for some time now. They are still shocked by the ferocity of Misty Mountain. Wars are breaking out everywhere, and Misty Mountain is winning overwhelmingly. The young manager stands in front of the screen and yells, "Have they gone mad? Waging wars everywhere. What on earth is happening?" At the headquarters of the 10 Nations Alliance, employees are frantically working to find out the reason for this, and they discover that Misty Mountain seems to have not broken the peace treaty with humans, not causing any harm to humans. What they are targeting are only the exotic beast forces in various forbidden areas. In Luo country, the government has begun to summon the hero Iron Fist Tyrant. If I remember correctly, this name is the first one to have signed a contract with the Divine Tree, considered one of the representatives of the Divine Tree in the human world. This male manager grits his teeth in impotence. After 3 years of deep slumber, Misty Mountain has been frenziedly active, waging wars and wreaking havoc everywhere. In the face of this situation, a manager like him can hardly sleep peacefully. Not just him, all of humanity has fallen into a state of high alert, for if the Divine Tree were to rise in fury and obliterate a city, what would they do? 15 minutes later, Tyrant arrives. A quick meeting among the powerhouses of the kingdom is held, just to ask Tyrant one question: "Do you know what's happening?" Tyrant listens with folded arms, and after hearing, he swears loudly, "Damn it, what's going on? If you guys don't know, how am I supposed to know?" A young powerhouse speaks up, "Didn't you sign a contract with Misty Mountain?" At this, Tyrant swears even louder, for the one who just asked has also signed a blood contract with the Divine Tree. "You're just like me. If you don't know, how the hell am I supposed to know?" So, the other denies it, and they start arguing, no one willing to accept this truth. It's uncertain how long this will last, but one thing is certain, it solves nothing. Suddenly, a mutated bird darts in like a bolt of lightning, shattering the bulletproof glass and barging into the meeting room. It turns out to be Aki from Misty Mountain. Aki doesn't greet anyone, just yells at the arguing crowd. Everyone is so surprised that they stop moving and listen. The Divine Tree has ordered, "Hunt down the powerful individuals of various races. There will be great rewards. If the target does not surrender, keep yourself safe and kill them immediately." Everyone hears clearly, no one says a word. Aki finishes and flies away immediately. There's still a lot of work at home. Tyrant's group watches Aki's retreating figure, still in shock. This creature rushed in and they couldn't detect or prevent it at all. Isn't it like they're fish on a chopping board? In the far northern region, this is the frost giant of transcendent second order. Today, the mammoth will test the hardness of its tusk. Its speed has reached 120 kilometers per hour. The mammoth charges straight at the ice monster. The skill activates, crushing all things. Even if the frost giant is huge and weighs hundreds of tons, it has to fall before this close combat attack. The mammoth turns to the ice dragon and says, "Let's take this thing back together." Could it be that this ice monster is also a beast carrying an elemental heart within it? At Misty Mountain, the Divine Tree is thrilled by the sight before it. Hundreds of exceptional exotic beasts from all over are bound at its feet, representing a myriad of species and talents. And all this has happened in just a few days. Among them, there are a few that the Divine Tree is particularly fond of. First is the ice monster, then this golden-winged bird, and finally, a green orc. Look, a flesh and bone orc. While the Divine Tree is still marveling, the orc quietly opens its eyes, cunningly spewing out a hot, golden spiritual power. Child's play? How could it trouble the Divine Tree? The next second, a root pierces through its heart, killing it instantly. "If you don't want to follow me, then die. I don't want to be betrayed before the battle." As soon as the execution is over, the system reports a harvest of 2 million evolution points and 50,000 spiritual power points. Then, the Divine Tree, invigorated, turns to look at the remaining exotic beasts, speaking in a cold voice, "Next, it's your turn, make your choice." Immediately, the exotic beasts turn pale with fear, having just witnessed the green orc die right before their eyes, without even uttering a single dying word. The Divine Tree begins its psychological warfare, releasing a deadly aura and spreading the pressure of its spiritual power in the space. Then it says a heartfelt sentence, "You choose to serve me, or choose to die?" End of chapter 186.